Now on CoastTV News.
Safety suggestions. What changes the Rehoboth Beach committee is considering for parking, left turns, and dogs on the beach. Plus, the grades are in. The Waterways report card rates being announced today for the Worcester County shore.
We've had some gusty winds on the peninsula this morning, and those will continue through the afternoon. I'm tracking some threats of snow and even colder temperatures through the weekend.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday, December 11th. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Starting off our show by taking a live look into a sunny Rehoboth Beach, and while it may look nice and beautiful for a beach day, it is frigid and blustery out there. Turning now to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Chris, it's a chilly one.
Good morning, Grace. Yeah, that sun is deceiving. We are seeing some cold temperatures out there, but the wind making it feel much colder than it actually is. 39 in Cambridge, but we're seeing wind gusts upwards of near 30, 35 miles an hour. Temperatures are going to hold steady into the upper 30s through the afternoon. We're at 39 in Indian River Inlet, 39 in Milton, 38 in Georgetown. But those winds are gusty, 27-mile-an-hour gusts there, Indian River Inlet, to 25 in Salisbury. We had a cold front that pushed through this morning, so wind chills are in the upper 20s to lower 30s, and that's really where we're going to stay through the afternoon. See some snow squalls well off to the west across portions of western Pennsylvania. Those will stay to our north, but temperatures, as I mentioned, are going to hold steady over the next 5 hours, but you could see the wind chills are going to be generally in the upper 20s to lower 30s, and then by this evening we see those wind chills dip into the lower 20s. It gets even colder early next week, but before that we have some snow to deal with by the latter part of the weekend. I'll talk more about that coming up in my full 7-day forecast. Grace.
Chris, all you have to do is say snow and everyone gets excited. On Wednesday night, Indian River Volunteer Fire Company responded to a serious crash on Long Neck Road near Ridgewood Road in Potsnet's Creek side. The fire company says a Honda Pilot and a Toyota 4Runner collided near a sharp curve, causing significant damage and injuries. You can see that destruction on your screen now. Crews worked to stabilize patients, clean up debris, and shut down the road for several hours. One man is dead after a two-vehicle crash in Hartley Wednesday morning. According to the Delaware State Police, the area on your screen now is where police say the accident happened. Delaware State Police say a Honda Accord pulled from a stop sign on Judith Road and into the path of a Ford Focus just after 9 a.m. State Police say the Ford hit the driver's side of the Honda, killing a 77-year-old Dover man behind the wheel. His name has not yet been released. The 18-year-old Hartley woman driving the Ford was treated at the scene and refused a trip to the hospital. Happening today in Rehoboth Beach, traffic concerns taking center stage. According to the agenda, the City Streets and Safety Advisory Committee is set to discuss speed limits, traffic calming measures, as well as signage. Officials will hear from people who live at Henlopen and Columbia Avenue. Also under review, consolidating some seasonal regulations that would include parking, left turns, and dogs on the beach into 2 consistent seasons. The Maryland Coastal Bays program set to unveil the 2024 Coastal Bays report card. It grades the health of the state 5 coastal bays along with the St. Martin River. Using 6 scientific indicators and combining them all into an overall score, the report card will be available and unveiled at 2 p.m. at Mickey Finn's in West Ocean City. Now for an update to a story that we reported on earlier this week. A man has died after his excavator fell into a retention pond. This happened at a retention pond near Slab Bridge Road in Fruitland around noon on Tuesday. The Wycomico County Sheriff's Office says 81-year-old Paul Jones was operating the excavator when, for reasons that are still unknown, the excavator entered a 40-foot retention pond. Happening later today in Dover, a convoy of trucks carrying thousands of wreaths heading to Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. It'll stop at the Dover Motor Speedway for a ceremony to recognize the commitment of honoring Americans' fallen service members. The public is invited to attend the ceremony, which has been moved inside the Bally's Dover Roland Center ballroom due to expected cold conditions. And my co-anchor, Matt Pensick, he'll be the MC of the event. The ceremony begins this afternoon at 3 p.m. Stay with us on CoastTV News Midday, because after the break, weapons used by pirates and other pieces of history found on our beaches, how a man who grew up in Milton is now showcasing local maritime history. This week's Coastal Connections is next.
Well, we have the blustery conditions with us today. We'll stay cold and dry tomorrow. A bit more clouds. We'll throw in a flurry chance. Better chance of snow comes over the weekend. Congratulations to Crystal Spicer of Georgetown, Delaware, on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. My full 7-day forecast is coming up in minutes.
The Delmarva coast has seen its share of shipwrecks. It's seen some of the most infamous pirates in history. In this week's Coastal Connection, we learn how a teenager from Milton, with a fascination of tales from the sea, grew up to be one of our area's great storytellers of maritime history. A calm after a storm like October's nor'easter. It often produces treasure along the southern Delaware coast.
You can walk along that beach and find the coins that wash ashore from that particular ship.
The shipwreck is the Faithful Stewart in 1785 near the Indian River Inlet, and it is largely because of the work of Dale Clifton that we know today the details of what occurred over 200 years ago.
I actually found my first shipwreck when I was 14, started working that wreck, and 40-some years later I'm still working wrecks. I had to start doing some research and started researching in the archives over in England and Ireland, and then finally found the account of the ship that had sank off of our coast that was carrying that type of coinage.
Coins from the shipwreck, like the Faithful Stewart's, show the effects of centuries under the sea. Some are found in a clump like this. Clifton is skilled in extracting these links to the past.
We soak them in fresh water and change the water at least once a day. We're trying to get the items to have no more than 1,000 parts per million salt.
It is work Clifton does in this office at the Discoveries from the Sea Museum in Fenwick Island. This extensive collection on display is a passion for maritime archaeology that was formed during his teenage years.
At about 16 years of age, I made my mind up. If I'm ever lucky enough to find some of this stuff, I want to create permanent homes around the world where people can go and not only hear the story, but see the artifact that backs that story up.
Including stories of pirates who found success in our waters.
Blackbeard favored this area because he knew that the Delmarva coast, being a very prominent strategic point of ships coming into Philadelphia, that we didn't have a lot of militias along our coast. So those pirates did come to this area a lot to plunder ships because they knew that they could probably get away with it. If you've ever heard the old expression, never take a knife to a gunfight, you'll see that this pirate had it covered because when you flip it over, built into the dagger was a single flintlock pistol.
This unique weapon is just one of many items that Clifton has collected since his teenage years. Some are on display in Fenwick Island, some are on loan. Some still need a little work, and many tell a story of a very different period of time along our shores. For Coastal Connections, I'm Matt Pinson.
Good morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Salisbury. Bright blue skies out there this morning, but we have those pesky winds making it feel much colder than it is. I'll tell you what, if we didn't have the wind, it'd be pretty nice. 39 right now, Salisbury. Winds are out of the west, about 10 miles an hour, but gusting to near 25 miles an hour, 23 in Georgetown. 28 Indian River Inlet, making it feel much colder. It feels like 30 in Georgetown, 29 Indian River Inlet, and it feels like 28 in Harrington, and that's really where the wind chills are going to stay throughout much of the day. Gale warning continues for the Delaware coast. That runs through 6 o'clock tonight. Could see winds as high as 35 knots. Small craft advisory, Ocean City down through Chickateague and then along the bay, and these run through this evening with some winds as high as 25 to 30 knots offshore. Well, we had some snow showers and some snow squalls well off to our north and west, and that's really where they're going to stay across portions of southeastern Pennsylvania and upstate New York as that cold air continues to filter over the Great Lakes. High pressure back off to the west is going to swing east and really be in control over the next day to 2 days. Well, we have been well below average really from Thanksgiving and all of this month, and that trend is going to continue at least through early next week. You can see winds out of the northwest will continue. I think we've seen the gustiest wind so far, but we could see a gust towards the 25 to 30 through the afternoon, and then as we get into the evening and overnight, those winds will really relax in through Friday. Wind chills, as I mentioned, are going to stay in the 20s, and then this evening, very cold, feeling like 21 in Millsboro, 23 in Georgetown, and we may even see some teens wind chills as far as at least early tomorrow morning, and then we're looking at wind chills in the 20s through Friday morning. The temperatures are going to be right in the upper 30s, and then clouds will begin to increase as we go into the day on Friday. We're going to hover right around 39, 38, and then fall into the lower 30s through the evening. Note the wind chills as they fall into the 20s, so very cold out there, so bundle up. As we go into the day on Friday, partly sunny skies, clouds will be on the increase. Can't rule out a stray flurry or snow shower. Most of us escape that. We stay dry Saturday, and then it's Saturday night. Notice the snow, the mix, and the rain beginning to form across portions of southeastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, and northern Delaware. How this interacts with an area of low pressure is going to be interesting, but we're going to see a precipitation shield develop, I think, Sunday morning, and this will likely begin as some rain and then quickly go over to snow and accumulating snow as that Arctic front pushes towards the coast. We're looking at about a 6 to 12 hour window here of precipitation, so this is a relatively quick moving system. Behind it, well, the coldest air mass of the season. We're talking about highs in the 20s, barely getting to 30, and then wind chills by Monday morning in the single digits. Yes, by Monday morning. So we get the snow out of here by Sunday afternoon. Could see a couple of inches. We'll continue to fine tune the forecast over the next few days, and then a temperature of 30 degrees by Monday, and then we'll rebound back to 48 next Wednesday. Grace.
Chris, you mentioned a slight possibility of having the Eagles game be a snow game on Sunday. That's exciting. Well, talking about sports, coming up tonight on DSN at 8:30, Decatur takes on Bennett boys basketball. Then catch that final score at 10:30. And on DSN Plus, here are these exclusives. Some girls basketball starting at 4:30 p.m. Milford travels to Sussex Tech at 5:30. Mardella visits Snow Hill. Also at 5:30, Y-High hosts Washington in boys basketball. And at 6:30, Dover visits Cesar Rodney in girls basketball. And it's another week in the NFL. This week on Sunday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings take on the Dallas Cowboys. You can watch that game right here on Coast TV, and then stay tuned after for our news at 11. Plus, here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Coming up today on Coast Life, you're not going to want to miss it. We have a special co-host, Rachel Parker of Parker Group. She's stopping by, and we're going to get into the difference in the average age of homeowners, home buyers that is, and why maybe that's starting to happen and how it actually impacts home sellers as well. Plus, we're going to have some fun conversations about that elf on the shelf and how sometimes it's a little bit of a pain to find new ways and new places to put it. So come tune in at 4 o'clock for Coast Life. We can't wait to see you.
This is some big news for you right now. The Salisbury Zoo is introducing its newest resident, a male spectacle owl named Bosque, which means forest in Spanish. Bosque is just a little over a year old, and he has been fully successfully paired with the zoo's 28-year-old female Luna, and keepers say the two are already showing positive social behaviors. They say it's a sign of a smooth transition. Welcome, Bosque.
We are continuing with our Bless Our Children campaign. We're raising money to ensure that every child on Delmarva has that special present to open during this time of the year. And we received this card. This is from Blunkey's Service Center, LLC, there in Vienna, Maryland. Great looking card here. Happy Snowman, Merry Christmas. And they also have the message inside, Merry Christmas and a Blessed New Year. We are putting this card on our tree. Businesses can help by accepting the Shell Brothers Challenge of donating at least $1,000. And if you want to help and send a donation in a holiday card, and we may just read it on the air, send a check or money order to the address on your screen or donate online at blessourchildren.org.
We've already helped to raise almost $270,000 to help children and families this holiday season. Again, we would like to thank all who have donated. That takes us now to our time to showcase how you're decorating your house with this season's holiday house. Today's image comes from Lori Hitchings in Rehoboth Beach. And Lori sent this in. First of all, I love the message. I hope you know this got a few laughs in our newsroom today. Seas and greetings. It is a beautifully coastal decorated home, very festive and also very appropriate for our area. And I'm sure that fireplace warms the whole house. Lori, thank you so much for your seas and greetings. I love this. And if you would like to send in your photos like Lori did, you could send them over to Holiday House. Take a look at your screen now. Again, that website is coasttv.com/holidayhouse. Delaware healthcare organizations came together across Delmarva to find solutions to the state's biggest challenges. It focused on several key topics that includes workforce shortages and limited resources in rural areas. According to the organization, in collaboration, it's key to deal with these issues.
One thing that we are talking about this year a lot is changes in federal policy that are honestly moving the wrong direction for Delaware families, making it harder for them to access healthcare services that they need. And that is an unfortunate reality of the moment we are living in, but we are all working together to do the best we can for Delaware families.
Another concern was federal policy changes, including recent Medicaid shifts.
Sun is shining in Dover, but those also are those winds. Those winds are cranking, making it feel much colder than that 38-degree temperature. We're going to hover right in the upper 30s, sunny skies, but feeling more like the upper 20s with the wind gusts near 30. Your latest forecast by calling our First Alert Weather phone. I'll have your 10-day forecast up next. Well, it's been a cold, blustery morning, and the winds are going to continue to gust near 30, 35, at least through the early part of the afternoon. Then those winds will relax. Clear skies, temperatures are going to fall to 30 by around 9. Will eventually fall into the mid-20s. We do see more clouds into Friday. Can't rule out a stray snow shower, I should say, through the afternoon. We're dry into Saturday, then moisture begins to develop late Saturday through Sunday, and that will likely lead to a period of some accumulating snow as we go into Sunday morning through early Sunday afternoon, and then behind that, an Arctic blast. Yes, temperatures struggle to get to the 30-degree mark by Monday, and then we finally rebound temperatures back into the 50s late next week. And last but certainly not least, a special happy birthday going out to Grace's grandfather, Ice Pa.
Thanks, Chris, on his behalf. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you for watching at home. Thanks, my grandfather, for watching every single day. And for more local news and weather, you can download our Coast TV News app, and don't forget to join us right back here for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. And until then, have a great day.